What's up, creeps? Exorcist here, joining you on another episode of Scurred. Okay, I kept hearing all of the hubbub about this movie, Sissy, and the ratings everywhere else are actually pretty darn good. So I thought, well, time to take the plunge. Let's go check out Sissy and see what it's all about. So as we get into it, we're going to do our best not to do spoilers, the whole 9 yards. You know, that's how we roll. And I'm actually kind of surprised by the movie and where I ended up score wise. So, give you a little background on it. Sissy is, I believe it's an Australian based movie, but they're best friends. This one gal, Sissy, is an influencer. Uh, namaste kind of influencer, and she runs into her best friend from school who is having a shindig get together. She's getting married, yada yada yada. So Cecilia is invited by Emma to go to this party. When she gets there, all of a sudden there's a problem, and that problem is a kid that bullied Sissy uh, back in like grade school is now best friends with her friend, and that quickly becomes a problem as Sissy was being bullied by the friend. She, as a child, hit her with like a gardening shovel in the face, so she's got this huge scar. It's a lot of drama. There's a lot of stuff that goes south pretty quick. So that's the general thing. Okay, it gives you an idea. Anyway, Rotten Tomatoes, by the way, 97% on this thing. IMDb is a little bit lower than that at about a 6.2. But we'll give you the full rating of ours here as we go. We've got the official Scurred scorecard. Ooh, I like that. Scurred scorecard. So for cast, overall, I've got to say the cast, though they're not like familiar American actors and actresses, they are still pretty phenomenal. Aisha D as Sissy or Cecilia is absolutely charming. I loved watching every minute of her. I loved watching the emotions she was able to capture, both good, both bad, both completely psychotic and totally sane, all at the same time. Um, Really a great actress. She did an amazing job, and that's what made it so fun for me to watch. So for cast, yeah, boom, they get a point. Absolutely, all the way around. It didn't matter, who was on the screen. They were fun to watch, and there was some kind of drama happening. So, setting overall, I thought the setting was pretty good to this movie. It's not just like a traditional go to a birthday party, blah blah blah. They do it way out in this remote location. They hit a kangaroo on the way there, which is really weird to see as roadkill. For the record, we don't see that kind of thing around these pots all too often. So very strange. But anyway, very remote location, and it's pretty. There's a little creek that runs through it. The building itself is really huge. Lots of room for everybody, very high end finishings. The whole setting's just kind of cool. It's like somewhere you'd go away for something like this kind of event. So the setting made total sense. Boom, we gave him a point for it, brings us up to 2. All the way around, the plot uh, is pretty darn good yet again. I mean, I was really impressed. The whole idea of how these things come together, it feels like life. We bump into that one friend from a long time ago who all of a sudden became best friends with your worst enemy, and now you're in the same room together, and super awkward. But what I loved about Sissy the most, and this is on a more serious note, is it really highlighted certain kinds of mental illness and did it in a way where it's relatable, and it makes you feel like we're all kind of on that slippery slope where one minute we're okay and the next minute we're just not. So I really loved how the film highlighted that, and even the people that you think have it together the most, not necessarily influencers, but I'm just saying sometimes, what we see on the outside is not exactly what's happening on the inside. And Sissy was a great, great example of that. And they built that right into the plot. So for plot, I gave them a point, which brings us up to 3. FX, of course, there weren't any scary, gooky monsters or creepy things like that. but there were some roadkill special effects. Like I said, the kangaroo on the side of the road was just disgusting. And, I imagine they're like deer to us here in the States, especially where I'm from. You hit a deer like once a year. So hopefully it's not that common, but it's weird for us to see it because we're like, oh, kangaroos are awesome. We never see those. Uh, but the effects on that were just gnarly. Plus, every time there is some kind of accident or murder, let's put it that way, the effects are really good. A little bit gory at times, and the weapons of choice in the movie are pretty weird. But very good effects overall. They didn't try to go over the top. They kept it classy. And so for that, boom, they also get a point. Continuity. This movie is designed on continuity, but it's one of those ones where it kind of jumps from here to there, from here to there, and each time it jumps, you get like 2 more minutes of the story. And that to me is really kind of a negative. Agree or disagree, you can let me know down in the comments, but make sure you subscribe, like, button, bell, and then yell at me, please. So I didn't give him a point for continuity because I don't feel like it had a very good flow, and it was an incredibly slow burning film. Like the first hour of it, I was like, okay, is something going to happen here or what? So for continuity, no points. Antagonist, Aisha D again as Sissy, as well as Emily de Margariti, I believe is how you say it, who plays Alex, which is her like arch nemesis from grade school. Both of them are absolutely bonkers and great as actresses. Absolutely loved it. And they are both, in their own way, antagonists to the story. So I did give a point to Sissy for that one. That brings us to a total of 5. And then, overall on the Scurred ranking system, we'll get to that. But the ending itself, the ending is exactly what I pictured it would be. It was a little bit predictable. But man, you're somewhere in the middle of all of the craziness and drama, and you start going, if it ends this way and everything turns out okay at the end, we've got a real problem with society. And that's exactly what happened, which is why I gave him another point. So that brings the total for Sissy to 6. And then on the Scurred part, as mentioned, we have spooked, shaken, and scurred. So which level of scary was it? This was, to me, not really a scary movie. It was very entertaining. It was slow at times. It's hard because it's kind of a psychological thriller, but at the same time a slasher movie. So the genre itself is kind of undefined, which makes it cool, but not necessarily scary. Did I like jump and freak out and have nightmares? No. Was it bloody and gory and slashy? Yes. So I gave them spooked an additional point. Overall, this movie was actually pretty darn good. It was a little slow for my taste, but once that thing got rolling, wow, did it snowball fast and hard. The cast was great. The concept was great. The undertones with the message they were trying to share was absolutely great. That it was about an influencer who's, YouTube famous or Insta famous, whatever it is, always makes it a little bit more fun because it's current and relevant. So really, Sissy, in my opinion, at very least, lives up to some of the hype. It's a pretty good movie, and I would recommend the watch. On the official Scurred scale, we gave this a 7. So Sissy 2022 film comes out at a 7 on the Scurred scale. And that's pretty good. We don't hand out a lot of 7s, 8s, 9s, and very rarely, if ever, a 10. So 7's a solid number for Sissy overall. There's a couple different places that you can watch it, but I do have, I've got all of them, but I watched it on Amazon Prime, included in my subscription there. So if you have that, great. I think it might be on a few other services, but You can definitely catch it on Prime. Okay, well, that's to wrap up the Scurred review, official, might I add, of the movie Sissy, featuring Aisha D as Cecilia. Absolutely a great actress, a ton of fun movie wise to watch. Just be sure you have something to eat and a few drinks for the first half of the show because it is a little bit slow burning. So there you have it. That's the full review on Sissy. And as I always say, I'm Exorcist, and until next time, sleep tight.